Hello everybody, my name's Glenn Mickey. I'm the owner and manager of Glenn's Driving School in Edmonton, Alberta. Today I want to talk to you about driver training vehicles, and more specifically who owns the vehicles and why that is important to you as a customer. In Alberta, driver training vehicles can either be owned by the driving school, which is providing you with the training, or by the actual instructor who is giving you the training. And at Glenn's, all our vehicles are owned by Glenn's Driving School. You will not have any vehicle that is owned by the instructor who is giving you the training. And the reason for that is quality is very important to us at Glenn's Driving School. We want to make sure that we give you the best quality training possible. And the problem with having an instructor provide the vehicle is that there is a financial incentive for the instructor to provide you with weak, watered down training. Not to say that necessarily that they will do it, but the reality is that there is a financial incentive for them to do so. And in order to justify me saying that, I need to review for you the kind of training that you'll receive if you come to Glenn's Driving School. So we're going to start you off in a quiet residential area, and you're going to do some left turns, right turns, practice pulling in and out from the curb, as well as going through various types of intersections. You'll go through uncontrolled intersections, you'll go through intersections that are cross-traffic controlled, where the other traffic either has a yield sign or a stop sign, and you'll go through intersections where you have the yield sign or stop sign. And that gives you very valuable experience. It helps you discriminate between the two. Sometimes people will be going through a couple intersections that are cross-traffic controlled, and then the next intersection it'll be different. They'll be facing a yield sign, and if they're not paying attention, they may blow a yield sign, which could lead to a very serious collision. So that's very valuable training. So as we move you along in your training, we'll cover the various parks, such as perpendicular parking, parallel parking, uphill parking, downhill parking, which are important as well, of course. And then we'll move you into light traffic, see how you do there. And if you're ready, we'll move you into heavy traffic. That usually doesn't happen until about the 4th or 5th lesson. We don't want to put you in that situation until we feel that you're ready for it. But once you're ready, we'll get you into heavy traffic, where you'll be making a lot of lane changes, a lot of left turns, and you'll gain valuable experience from that. Of course, on the lane change, you need to be watching your rear view mirror to make sure a vehicle isn't coming up quickly behind you. You need to shoulder check to make sure that there isn't a vehicle in your blind zone. So those are all valuable experience, chances to make mistakes, but also will make you a better driver, and better to make your mistakes with us than when you're out there on your own. Also, left turns, very valuable experience. You come up to an intersection with traffic lights. The light turns green, you pull into the intersection. Now you have to make sure that there's a sufficient gap in the traffic so that you can make the turn safely. You have to make sure that if you do obtain a gap that's safe enough for you to make your turn, that there isn't any pedestrians crossing to your left. You don't want to be caught halfway through the turn with a vehicle coming and a pedestrian crossing in front of you. Situation you certainly want to avoid. And also you have to keep glancing at the light to make sure the light doesn't change. And if the light does change, there's two things you have to be aware of. You have to make sure that there isn't going to be anyone running the light. If you see the light turn yellow, you don't want to just punch the gas and go and get T-boned by somebody that's running the light. But on the other hand, you don't want to be hesitating or not notice that the light has changed, and you get stuck in the intersection. The light turns green for the other traffic. Now you're blocking the way, people are honking at you, you're trying to go, there's people driving in front of you. Not a safe situation, not a situation you want to find yourself in. And by getting a lot of experience making left turns, it'll go a long way to avoid being in that situation when you're out there driving on your own. Now also, left turns at stop signs and yield signs are very valuable as well, especially if there's a lot of traffic coming. At a stop sign, you're going to have to, or yield sign for that matter, you're going to have to make sure there isn't any traffic coming from your left, there isn't any traffic coming from your right, and there isn't any traffic going straight coming from the other side of the intersection, because of course you're turning left across their path, you have to yield to them. And of course, again, there could be pedestrians crossing, so you need to be on the lookout for them as well. So there's a lot to watch for It is very valuable experience and is going to go a long way to making you a safe driver. So I think you can see the value to that kind of training, and it's best to have those kind of experiences when you're with somebody who has a dual brake. So if you do make a mistake, they can bail you out quickly, as opposed to somebody who doesn't have a dual brake and all they can do is yell at you, and maybe you're going to panic and hit the gas, and which could lead to very negative consequences. So I think, again, you can see that that's a very valuable experience. That's probably the kind of training that you would like. You want to be a safe driver. But the question is, if the instructor is the one providing the vehicle, and that's their own personal vehicle, which is likely the case, it's their personal vehicle that's also being used as a driver training car, are they going to provide you with that kind of training? Well, the answer is maybe. You don't know for sure. They might provide you with a little bit of that. They may not provide you with much at all. It could vary. However, as I've said before, there is a financial incentive for them not to provide you with that kind of training. So why is that? Well, for one thing, there's fuel costs. When you're providing that kind of training where you're speeding up, slowing down, you come up to lights, maybe the light's red or maybe the light's green, but you have to stop for oncoming traffic, or even if you don't have to stop, you're going to have to slow down for your turn for sure. So when you're doing lots of turns and you're having to slow down or stop a lot and then speed up again and then slow down again, that's very good training, but that is going to consume more fuel, and the driving instructor is going to be the one paying for that fuel. So there's an incentive for them to have you maybe driving at a steady speed so that you are not consuming as much fuel. There might be an incentive for them to be having you parked at the curb for a long time while they show you lots of diagrams and give you a really long explanation of things. Now, there's a place for that, but at Glenn's we believe that the best value for you in the car is to give you lots of experience hands-on behind the wheel. And of course, if you're sitting at the curb for a long time with the engine shut off, it'll save fuel, but we feel it would reduce the quality of your training if that is overdone. Also, we've had a situation once where a student came to us who'd been at another driving school, and she said that the driving instructor there was not giving her full hour, and he justified that by saying, I have to deduct time because I have to prepare a lesson plan for you. That sounds very strange to me. It sounds to me, I can't get inside the fellow's head to know exactly, but it seems to me like maybe he was just trying to save on a bit of fuel. The less time he spends out of there having the student driving, the less he's going to have to pay for fuel. So that's not acceptable, and that should not be. Driving school should be providing you with the full 60 minutes of training, and I've never heard of that before, but that's what that one instructor apparently was doing. So the bottom line is, though, if the instructor is providing the vehicle, the less fuel that is consumed, the more profit there will be for the driving instructor, because they're paid a certain amount per lesson. It's most likely the way they do it, and of course the more they have to pay out, the more that cuts into their profits. And also there's brake maintenance. If you're giving that kind of training where you're speeding up and slowing down a lot, you're going to wear out your brakes sooner. And when the brakes need maintenance, who's going to have to pay for that? The driving instructor again. So again, there's an incentive for them to like I say, parked kind of like with the fuel expenses. If you're parked at the curb, you're not going to be wearing on the brakes. Also, if you're driving in a long straight line a lot, where you have the right-of-way, you don't have to be slowing down much, that's going to save the brakes as well. And the longer the vehicle can go without having to have the brakes maintained, the more profit it will be for the instructor. Also, this kind of training is hard on the tires. Tire experts will tell you that it's hard to say sometimes how long a tire will last for, because it depends how the vehicle is being used. If the vehicle is being used for a lot of turns like we're using it, the tires will wear out much more quickly than if the vehicle is being driven mostly in long straight lines. So again, the tires need to be replaced. Who has to pay for that? The driving instructor does. So as a result, it's going to cut into their profits, so the longer they can keep those tires maintained without having to replace them, the more profit there will be. Again, we can't say for sure that's the approach the instructor will take, but there is a financial incentive for them to do so. Now, insurance. Insurance policy for the vehicle, of course, will be paid by the owner, which in this case would be the instructor. And the instructor, I'm sure, does not want those rates to increase. So if you give the kind of training we give, it puts the vehicle in heavy traffic. There is more risk of a collision, particularly if the instructor is not paying attention. So that might be a concern for the instructor, because if there's damage to the vehicle, especially if the student was at fault, then the insurance, there's an at-fault claim, the insurance premiums on that vehicle may go up. Again, the instructor will have to pay for that. And also there's the issue of if the training vehicle is damaged and needs to be in the auto body shop for a few days, now not only is the instructor without their personal vehicle, but now they're without their livelihood, because they cannot provide any training until that vehicle is back in service again. So that could be in the instructor's mind, so they may want to keep you out of heavy traffic for that reason. Drive in residential areas, or drive in long straight lines where you have the right-of-way. In fact, we once had a student come to us who said that the instructor kept her in residential areas the full 10 hours. And that wasn't because she was that bad of a driver. We got her into heavy traffic. She went through the course in 10 hours, but it may have been that the instructor, I don't know, of course, whether the instructor owned the vehicle or not, but I know a lot of schools work that way, and so maybe that's why they did things that way. So at Glenn's, we keep an extra automatic car, one more than we have instructors, just in case something like that happens. We don't have to worry about, oh, maybe we need to protect the car because if it gets damaged we won't be able to provide service and that's going to cost us money. No, we keep an extra car so that if that does happen, something like that is a rarity, but you know, it could happen, so it gives a bit of a safety net, so to speak, so that we can continue to provide you with the training and you won't be inconvenienced. And so we're committed to that kind of quality. We want to be committed to quality, not worried about protecting the vehicle. Now, how does a driving school benefit by having an instructor provide the vehicle? Well, several ways. One is it saves money because they pay the instructor a little bit extra. They also do have to have an insurance policy just to address the issue of in case the instructor's insurance isn't adequate or there's some problem with it. Alberta Transportation wants to make sure that there's coverage there. So they have that, but since there is coverage on the vehicle, that probably doesn't cost them as much. And so they pay the instructor a little bit extra, and after that, every expense related to that vehicle is the instructor's responsibility. The oil changes, the fuel, any maintenance that needs to be done to the vehicle, that comes out of the instructor's profit. And also, there is the issue of vehicle depreciation. If the driving school provides a vehicle, that vehicle is going to depreciate. The driving instructor probably also has their own personal vehicle, that vehicle is depreciating. So if you can combine the two vehicles and use them for both, now you only have one vehicle depreciating, and therefore there is going to be likely some considerable savings as a result. The other issue is less responsibility. If the instructor owns the car, you know, the time involved taking it in for an oil change, fueling it up, or anything else that needs to be done with the vehicle, that's the instructor's responsibility. The driving school doesn't need to worry about that. Also, if the vehicle is damaged, say in a hit and run, somebody scrapes it during the night when it's parked, again, the repair for that is going to be either on the instructor's insurance, or the instructor will have to pay for that. The driving school doesn't need to worry about that. And also a big one is they don't need to worry if the instructor is being careless. They'll know the instructor has a motivation not to be careless and be very careful and make sure that the student isn't involved in a collision, because if it is, again, it's going to be the instructor's problem. Might be the driving school's problem a little bit, of course, if a student is injured or something like that, or even the driving car is not available. It could be, you know, a poor service issue. But ultimately, they know that the instructor has motivation not to let that vehicle be involved in a collision, where if the vehicle is involved in a collision and the driving school owns it, well, then it's the driving school's insurance that's going to take the hit there. So that's why a lot of schools prefer to have it that way, because they want to make sure the instructor is conscientious that way. But the problem is that it can go the other way as well, to the point where the instructor is more concerned about protecting the car than providing you with the quality training that you deserve. So I think you can see now why driving schools might want the instructor to provide the car. You can see how it saves money, and as a result the driving school may be able to charge you a little bit less because of that. But I think you can also see how it could compromise the quality of your training. And at Glenn's, we're not going to do anything that compromises the quality of your training. Quality is number one with us, and we're not going to run our operation in a way that's going to compromise that quality just so we can charge you a lower price. And this commitment to quality has benefited us over the years. Now, we've had driving examiners refer people to us. That's a high compliment, because obviously they see people from different schools and people who haven't taken driver training. Obviously they see a difference if they're referring people to us. We've also had insurance companies refer people to us. Insurance companies sure don't want their clients getting into at-fault claims. So again, if they're referring somebody to us, they must feel that we're doing something right. And recently also we had a lady bring her daughter to us. She had two older daughters who had taken driver training, one with us, one with a discount driving school, which charges considerably less than we do. And she noticed that the daughter that took her training with us was a much better driver. So, you know, that speaks volumes about the quality of the training that we give here at Glenn's. So if you'd like more information about Glenn's Driving School, you'd like to contact us, you can see our contact information up here. You can contact us through our website, glensdrivingschool.ca, or you can just send us an email, glensdriving@gmail.com. And also you can call us during regular office hours. We're open 10 till 2, 3 till 6, Monday through Friday. And you can call us again at the phone number 780-478-1777, or you might just want to stop in and talk to us. That would be great as well. We're in Suite 307, 9006, 132nd Avenue. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it to be beneficial and informative, and have yourself a wonderful day.